do you got? Any message yet?
Waiting on you right now, buddy.
Yeah, it's waiting on me.
Still waiting.
There we go. Ought to be soon now.
I got the message up top here.
Is that a new shirt, Steve? Did you get that on the cruise?
I got this on the cruise.
Yeah.
All right, DC,
All right.
we are up.
All right. We'll go ahead and get our intro in. How about it?
Sounds like a plan.
Hi, this is Jack Hughes of Wang Chung, and you're listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast show with your hosts DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away. Hey.
Hey, all right, ladies and
Welcome
gentlemen.
in for a special one tonight.
Yeah, special Monday night show. We'll see how the energy level goes tonight on a Monday night.
Yeah.
All right, folks, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, I am DC.
And we're here
Tammy
on
tonight.
Yes, Tammy's in tonight. Special
Co-host
guest Steve.
seat.
Yep.
I'm
Steve's
TD.
in. Yep, and that's TD down there. See, we've got the
That's
D's
it.
everywhere. D and D and D.
Yeah.
It's in the house tonight.
Yeah.
DC, how's your week been, brother?
Pretty good since it's only been day one. So
I know, I'm
it may-
telling you, man. I'm
it
not
may
used to this
change,
Monday night show. I was downstairs, had dinner, kicked back in the recliner, and thought, oh man, I got to get up. We got a podcast. Hold on, what am I going to do? You set
There
me
you
up
go.
on this one. Hey, I'm excited to get this one rolling. We got a
Yeah.
great guest coming in.
yeah.
Welcome them back to the show. So DC, I'm going to throw it
Absolutely.
over to you for introduction.
Yeah, we're so honored to have Steve Spears back with us. Steve's been on with us before, and excited to get caught up with him. I know he's been busy with the book and the coming off the cruise, and we'll talk about all those great things. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Hey guys, I'm great. Feels great to be back. Happy to see your
Appreciate
faces.
you.
Now,
Appreciate
Steve, I
you
have
being
to
on.
ask: Are you glad to be back on land after the cruise, or?
Yeah, post 80s cruise is always like its own little journey where you're like so happy to be back, and then you realize no one's bringing you drinks or dessert anymore, and there's no concert to go to tonight. So what am I supposed to do? I have to actually watch television. I don't know if I can handle that.
Melissa's not bringing you drinks and dessert.
No.
Oh man. Well, tell us about the idea of you wanting to write the book.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. I've been doing the podcast now for 20 years, and I love the podcast. I mean, it is who I am, really. I have a longer relationship with the podcast than I do with almost everybody I know, except for my family. But when we hit the 20-year mark, I started getting this feeling that, podcasts are great, but they're also fleeting. It comes
Yeah.
out, then it disappears in your feed, and then 10 years from now, people don't remember. Did you interview Dennis DeYoung? Yeah, I did. Sure. So it felt like after almost doing 800 episodes, it felt like it was a time to give him a permanent home. And it also gave me a chance to go back and look at some of the interviews I did 10, 15, 20 years ago and just look at them again with a more mature eye and, see if there's any insight there that I missed the first time around.
Go ahead, DH.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something, DC. I was waiting for you to move.
No,
See,
no,
one of
you
the
go
things
ahead.
that I kind of find interesting about it is the way you kind of make it. When you're talking about the episodes, it's more like individual stories, but they all flow together in the book.
Mhm.
And I think that's really cool how you did that. I mean, that had to take a lot of thought process, how you organized and kind of set things up. Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, to be honest, when I first started working on it, I knew I wanted it to be about the interviews. And originally it was going to be like literal transcripts of the interviews. And then I realized that it didn't really work, that the connective tissue really was my own connection with the artists. And with so many of them, they played a role at some point in my life, whether it was going to see AC/DC and having my dad drive me, and me fooling around with things that may or may not have been passed around in the crowd before the show started, or actress Debbie Foreman basically walking me through a breakup.
Wow.
A lot of the stories that I picked for the book are ones where I have some relationship in my life with that person, or I learned something from it that changed the way I did things going forward. I mean, I like to think I was pretty honest and put the interviews in there that didn't go so well. There's a handful that didn't go so well, but I didn't want to hide them. I wanted to sort of spotlight them. And so Simon Le Bon and Cyndi Lauper and are two of the ones that they were tough interviews, but you learned something from it. And so I wanted to include that too, but I also wanted to explain to people like, here's the connection. Here's why I'm talking about, Andrew Dice Clay, here's why I remember that interview. Here's why I'm talking to Dennis DeYoung. I think that was the goal. And as I wrote the book, it became more and more clear. And the other thing that became more interesting as I wrote the book was I started to learn infinitely more about the process of interviewing and how I evolved over the last 20 years, because I've never been a full-time reporter. I've always been a full-time journalist, but never a full-time writer. And so writing the book in a way was a journey for me to look at what I'd been doing for the last 20 years and seeing how the process evolved.
And Steve, one of the things I'm going to kind of follow up a little bit here. One of the things I wonder because we're getting ready to start year 6. I mean, you've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back and just think about all of the individuals that you've met through the podcast and just think, how in the world did this thing even come to be this big and be about?
Yeah, I think about that every day when I wake up, and it's probably the last thought that goes through my head every night before I go to sleep. We had my wife threw this wonderful 20th anniversary party last summer to mark 2 decades of podcasting, and so many of the people that are important to that journey were there. Tammy was there, and it was just this phenomenal experience. But it was a chance for me really to sit there, among so many close friends, people who feel like family to me now, and just contemplate, everything the podcast has given me. Like I always say, like all the friends I have today are either people I met through the podcast or through the cruise.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, and you're I think what you have alluded to there is kind of the way we feel. Everyone we've met on the podcast kind of becomes part of your extended family. We check in with each other, and it's really cool to be able to follow people and make those connections.
I find it hard. I mean, I would love to know if there's an art form that gives you that kind of connection as much as a podcast does. I doubt it. I mean, there's something magical about podcasting that creates that connection and that feeling, that shared experience. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before.
Right. Yeah. It's, and it's kind of like we approach this as just sitting down, having a casual conversation with friends. And that's kind of the way it is with the podcast. And it's really cool to do, So yeah, we kind of understand that one.
Yeah, it's a part of what I think the genius of your book. So I've been with Steve on this book project almost from the start, and designed and laid out the book and helped to get it produced and stuff. So I've seen how it has evolved and everything. And part of what is so cool is like, Steve, had you just done the transcript, like it would have been interesting. Like to hear, it's great to hear these podcasts and you could read them instead of hear them, but it wouldn't have been as intimate and kind of, I think your personal experience added in makes this a must read to me. And it's so heartfelt that way. Like the interview is great and you've got quotes from it but the being behind the scenes is like it takes us with you on your journey instead of just reading what happened on the podcast. Right now we're with you. Now we know your feelings behind it. We get to hear when you're super excited and almost like fanboying over somebody. But what I love also is how somehow you manage to treat every celebrity as a fellow human being and still respect their celebrity status. And I've not known you to like totally go fanboy geek over somebody on like while you're live, but there's at least one podcast, one chapter, if you will, in there where you end it with best interview ever. And that, I mean, I was like, oh, like sometimes you just think, you interview so many people, you just kind of get used to it. But to read that, I was like, yes. You know which one that was?
I'm sitting here trying to think. I mean, here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, when I finish an interview, I am so completely giddy, for lack of a better term. I am so happy that I had this opportunity to connect with the person. And if it went well and I made them laugh and I asked them a question that they've never been asked before, that's always like one of my goals is I want to ask you something no one's ever asked. Or if I have to ask you a question you've been asked 20 times, I'm going to at least press for a deeper answer. So just about every time I hang up the phone after an interview, that thought goes through my head like, oh God, top five interview. Really, really feel good. Really, really super happy. But now I'm curious because I remember writing it, but what was it? It wasn't Steve Perry, was it?
No, I know that was probably your pinnacle. It would be for me.
Wow.
But the artist started singing his song.
Kenny Loggins.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so in all fairness, when we did the Kenny Loggins interview, that was really early on in the podcast history. It was the best podcast we had ever done up until that point. You know, that was the best interview. That was the first interview we ever had where we felt like it wasn't an interview, it was a conversation with somebody that you really admired, but still a conversation. And the give and take that we had with him. And then when we got him to break into song and sing the theme song from Caddyshack 2, I mean, that I still get chills from that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is fantastic.
That was, I mean, there have
What a
been many
moment.
moments where I thought, this is
Yeah.
it. I'll never do better than this interview.
Yeah.
And at the time, which I think that was maybe 2 or 3 years into the podcast, that was one of those moments. He was the biggest name we ever had on, and he was just couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of one of the moments that we had with the lead singer of Men Without Hats, and when everybody did the safety dance as we were, leaving off. It's true; those iconic moments stick in. But
It's special. Yeah.
it is,
Those are
and
special moments.
I can't imagine Steve 20 years worth, because I know now. I go back and watch some of our old shows, and I'm like, wow, I forgot how that was really cool. I couldn't imagine for 20 years. Have you ever found a show where you go back and you start looking, you're like, yeah, I totally forgot we had them on. What an amazing show.
Yeah, I wish I had done a better job at the very beginning of making detailed show notes so that I could remember every single interview we've done and every story that we've told so that I don't retell the same stories 100 times over. I just remembered the other day that I had interviewed Fred Schneider from B-52s. It's just one of those interviews that it happened 15 years ago, and I forgot about it when I was writing the book. He didn't make it. You know, there's probably 15 or 20 people that I've interviewed over the years, and I tried really hard to go back and like here's trying to make a full list of everybody I've talked to, and it just became too hard because going through 20 years of shows and some episodes in the early days when you didn't know what you were doing podcasting, you're just trying to get the show out there. It never even occurred to you that, hey, you should be making notes, you should be doing better metadata, all the stuff that we take for granted now. It's like 20 years ago, I was riding a horse for the first time on the continent of North America. It was just, you were just glad to get it out. And if 10 people listened to it, you were just thrilled. So
That's right.
yeah, there's Fred Schneider's and Mike Score Flock of Seagulls didn't make it. Klaus Meine of the Scorpions didn't make it. I would love to. Yeah, it's hard to keep track. I don't mean to sound jaded. Gosh, I appreciate everyone who's ever come on the show, and I just want to kick myself when I don't keep track better than I do.
Well, it sounds like maybe there's a volume 2 in the works
Yeah,
there.
there
We're
you
kind
go.
of looking at.
Hey, Tammy, there's a volume 2 in the works.
Right.
I expect that, guys. I expect that. So probably
Yes.
not this year.
No.
He's got some marketing to do, and really, so we'll mention this again later, I'm sure. But this book launches on Wednesday of this week, so the
Yes.
11th.
Fantastic.
And
Yes.
and folks, y'all need to check that out because
Yeah.
I've read a little bit of it. That Steve sent over a digital copy to DC, and I've kind of read a little bit of it, and
Mhm.
and I didn't have time to get all the way through it, but I'm going to because it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. And Tammy kind of hit
What a
on it,
journey.
Steve.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really brings me into it is the way you personalize it and the way you put
Mhm.
yourself out there in these interviews. So to me, I think that's what makes a difference because, I mean, we watch several different things and some of them are so impersonal. And to see you and the way you put that personal spin into this book and into the podcast, when you guys do the podcast, I think that's what brings it home for me.
Oh, that means a lot to me. I've always kind of thought that was the secret sauce of the podcast. The fact that we put ourselves so much into it and that we wear the emotions on our sleeves, as they say. But when I wrote the book, I thought, these are people that have been interviewed a lot of times and they've appeared in a lot of magazine articles and other books. And so I wanted to bring something different to it. And I think the overall theme as you go through it is that these musicians and these actors provide the shared language that as 80s fans we use to communicate with each other. And that I wanted to express the book in that way, like that. And I hopefully that came across.
I think it definitely
Absolutely.
did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Lynn
No-
has
no
joined
doubt
in.
about it.
He says, Lynn
Lynn.
with 3 N's here. Glad to be on. I think the podcast form without the lights and cameras is very equalizing, disarming, and perfect for the 80s. He says this, Steve, you are curious, fair, and kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Thanks,
So,
Lynn. That's
yeah.
really nice. Lynn's great.
Yes.
We've met in person and no, I consider him a good friend and, part of the family that has grown up around the podcast.
And that's,
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for Lynn to come to Nashville and buy breakfast for us at the Waffle House. That's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah.
You
Lynn'll
know
get
he
there.
will.
And
You know it.
Lynn will.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Lynn's
That
been
would-
in my office.
He's
There
going to
you
have to
go.
make it to Nashville for us.
Yeah,
DC,
absolutely.
you said you'd even let him wear your 10-gallon hat there
Or
for a day.
11 gallon, whatever it turns out to be for him.
We're talking about doing a get together in Tennessee for the podcast because more and more we have a lot of listeners there and throughout the state, but particularly in Nashville.
Yeah.
And so no, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, because Nashville's a great central location for a meetup. So we just need to find the right 80s weekend and make it happen.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
You
would
gotta
be
do it when the
awesome.
Roy Band is playing.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, our friends from the Roy Band, they
Yes, the 80s.
they do a
80s
monthly show. It'd
band,
be
the Roy
amazing.
Band.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could if we could work it all out, Steve, maybe we could all do something live at the Roy Band right before they perform.
Yeah, to
Oh,
theater.
wow.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Count me
Yeah.
in.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Steve,
yeah.
I got a couple questions for you. So I want to know, like, you've talked to so many iconic figures over from the 80s. So who was one guest that surprised you?
Wow. Poof. Everything about talking to Steve Perry of Journey was a surprise because he hadn't done an interview in 10 or 15 years with anybody. So he was retired. He was just unreachable. And I had to really battle to get through to reaching him to ask him for an interview. And finally got through. I finally got through to him through his fan club. And then I didn't know what to expect with him. I thought he'd be a little guarded and wouldn't really want to open up too much about any sort of sadness about the way things ended with Journey. But he couldn't have been more open and honest and straightforward. He talked about his doubts about making new music, that he wasn't liking the music he was creating, and he just wasn't sure of himself. He talked about his old relationships and how his fame affected those personal relationships. That show was all about sharing and confronting the truth. And when I started rereading it again a year or so ago, it 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 was there. The overall theme of the book was there, and so that's why he's the last chapter in the book. And he's the one that sticks with me the most. He's the one that surprised me the most. He's the one that delighted me the most. Even though Taylor Dane kissed me this last week,
Oh wow!
I'm still more surprised by Steve Perry than that we talked for nearly an hour. And somewhere I have the whole unedited transcript of the entire thing where we talk about how I'm going to put his press agent on my Christmas card list because I was so thrilled that that she'd hooked it up and stuff like that. It was, I have a hard time when I finished writing that chapter. I had a hard time finishing it because it was pretty emotional to me. And then when I was done with it, I read it to my wife, but I couldn't get through it. I kind of lost it a little bit, and it was a powerful afternoon, and recreating it in the book was it took everything that I had left in me to do.
I'm so glad you did, because
So fitting
it's
for the
powerful
last
to read.
Yeah.
And knowing you, I've no doubt you were like
Bawling.
deeply sobbing through it all in the most beautiful way.
Yeah. No,
So
it's tough. I just got a photo from my family a few hours ago. They went to a bookstore in Tampa Bay and bought up half the supply of the copies of the book. And they had the clerk took a photo of them all holding my book, and they were racing home to read it. I hope they don't. I hope, I hope they don't send a therapist to my house tomorrow. Steve, poor sad Steve. It's not sad. It's whimsical at times, and I think that's the word. I think that's not necessarily what I was aiming for, but that's the byproduct of the journey that I went through.
They won't send a therapist. They'll secretly be texting Melissa, "Are you sure he's okay? Is he doing all right?"
Maybe go get him a dessert.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, see, that's my kind of thinking right there. Dessert,
Right. Dessert
cheeseburger and a dessert, I'm good.
Right.
Everything else is
Everything's
irrelevant.
good.
But Steve, it's just amazing, for you to share those stories and those experiences with everyone, and to hear you talk about it, and as humble as you are about it. But my thing is, I'm going to go ahead and say you do an amazing job, and we appreciate what you do because, it honestly, and I know folks watching our show don't think that it does, but it does take a lot of time to prep these shows and get things going. Well, not necessarily for our show, but I mean for a real podcast, it takes some time to get things going. Talk a little bit about how much time you put in, really kind of the forethought going into this book, and then if how it kind of just came together for you.
The book, not you're talking about specifically the book, not the podcast.
You can do both. I just kind of wondered on the book, like how much forethought went into that, like the outlines and I want to do this one, not that one, before you actually started writing.
So I think it was 2 years ago, about two or 2.5 years. I've been wanting to write a book forever, but I just never could agree on an idea in my head. But I was my wife published a memoir a couple years ago, and she was going to a book fair in Tampa, like an artist book fair, where you have a table and you pitch your book to possible buyers and stuff like that, consumers, readers who were at the store. And so I went with her to help her, and we bumped into somebody who knew about the podcast, and she made a pitch to me right there. You should write a book about all this. You've been doing this for 20 years or 18 years at that time. You should write a book. And that was the first time. And seeing my wife's book for sale, seeing her dream come true to publish a book, having somebody else kind of push me, that was sort of the final spark I needed. But truth is, I did actually do it by the book. I did it. I created an outline, and if you looked at that outline today, it bears very little resemblance to the final product. I mean, there's a whole list of chapters that I had thought of that just never happened, and stories, podcast stories that I was going to talk about, but they didn't relate to the interviews. They were just kind of like superfluous, and so I left those out. It came together like a jigsaw puzzle. Like you're looking at these 100 interviews, and you just don't know how they fit together. And so what I started doing was just writing them one at a time. I'm going to put together my Kenny Loggins one today. I'm going to put together my John Parr one today. And I would try to tackle one a day. When I felt the writing bug. I mean, there's some days you just can't do it. But as I started putting them together, then I started seeing the connective tissue. I started seeing the themes. Like these were all established artists who are uncomfortable with their hits. Here are some artists who, are very comfortable with their image, no matter whether it's bad or good. Here are some artists. Here are the ones that I've interviewed who have sadly passed away. That was obviously easier to pick that chapter out. That was one of the hardest ones to write, but that's how it sort of came together. And then, the goal was to have it done by the 80s cruise, which that was kind of a nice deadline to have, because I think if I didn't have it, I'd still be working on it today, and Tammy would still be getting proofs from me, and we'd be like halfway there if it wasn't for this sort of a self-imposed deadline. And there was 100 times where I know Tammy and I talked about it. I was like, it's just not going to happen. This isn't going to come together. It's my fault. I don't see the forest through the trees or the trees through the forest. And but suddenly, like late 2025, it just became clear to me, and we adjusted the outline, and it just, this last 5 chapters just flowed right out. I mean, it was like I just was on an express train. And the Steve Perry one, Steve Perry was the first chapter I wrote in the outline that I pitched to people. But the version of Steve Perry that I wrote 2 years ago looks nothing like the book, the version of the book today. It's changed a lot. So if you gave me another year to write it, it'd probably be even a little bit more different.
Changed again. Yeah. Yeah.
We were going to get that book on that cruise. I was so determined, and we worked hard that last month, especially. Like it's like it seems like if it doesn't, it's okay. I'm like, no, you are having books for this cruise. Like you got your stuff done. This is going to happen. There are ways to make this happen. You have to have the book on the cruise. And how long did it take for you to sell out on the cruise?
5 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
On the first day. I walked up to the store the first day that the store on the 80s, there's a whole store on the 80s cruise every year that has all the merchandise, including like my little Kestrel Maneuvers in the Dark shirt and other band stuff, but it also has books from people that are artists on the ship who are selling them. And I went up to look at the line. I just wanted to see how the book looked like on the shelf. And I walked up, and the line to get into the store was 45 minutes long.
Wow.
So I thought, there's no way. It'll be fun. I'll look tomorrow and see how it did. But I got a text from the store like a couple hours later saying, your book, it's all sold out. Do you have any more? And I'm like, no, that's all I could carry aboard. So they're like, next year, bring like 3 times as many. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow. That is awesome.
Terrible problem to have. Terrible.
Right.
Bad problem.
Now, Steve, that's going to lead me into the question of the night. And you've done this before. So this is for all the marbles at the Waffle House Friday morning, okay? We're going to give you 2 bands to choose from. All right. Now, this is the most important question. This decides whether the interview continues or ends. Then that's where we're at here. So DC, he always says that I cheat on this. And we go round and round about this. What comes around goes around. I just don't know why. I can tell you why. He just continuously says I cheat every time. It's round and round about me cheating, and I never do, Steve. I'm just an honest guy trying to have some fun with a podcast. So DC, shame, shame, shame on you. So I'm gonna let you tell the two bands. I'm just going to be quiet. Matter of fact, I'm going to lay my microphone down. I'm just going to lay it down so I don't say anything. Lay it down.
Terrible.
All you,
Terrible.
DC.
Terrible, terrible. Well, let me go ahead and take yours. Rat versus poison.
Ugh. Not my favorite genre, but I'm going to go with poison.
Oh, well, Steve, it was nice having you on again. We enjoyed it.
Yes.
Wow. DC.
I am clawing back into this competition.
You are within 2.
Really?
Within 2.
Okay.
You are making a comeback.
All right.
As Lynn says, I think this one is rat poison, and we're going to have to pick 2 new groups moving forward.
Oh, Lynn. Speaking of Lynn, Laughing with Lynn, we got to do his
It's
segment.
time. Yes, go ahead.
And those people that are joining us for the first time or will look at it on YouTube or whatever for the first time, we've got Lynn is one of our supporters and just a great guy, Dr. Lynn is. And we have made a segment of the show for Lynn. So Laughing with Lynn, he gives us a 80s joke every week to put on our show. So this is the one that he sent me this time. Why is it that the members of YouTube still haven't found what they're looking for?
I think I know the answer.
We'll let you tell it.
Go ahead,
Is
Steve.
it because the streets have no names?
That's it. Because the streets have no names. Very good. Very good. Very good, Steve.
Awesome.
So, Lynn, that's awesome. Thank you for sending that to us. If Lynn is still on here, I took your Wednesday joke, so send me another one.
Yes, you got double duty this week, Lynn. Hey, double duty, double the pay.
Text me another one, buddy. Yeah, text me another one. So, Laughing with Lynn. That's his segment this week, or to this particular show. So we appreciate
Can I ask
that.
Steve another question?
Yes.
Right
Oh,
ahead.
yes.
Okay. So I know like a lot of the interviews that you do happen, like the more recent ones are well after all these artists had their heyday. So what have you learned from them about like what happens after they're not in the spotlight so much?
That's a great question. At the time I was writing the book, I was reading Cameron Crowe's memoir, The Uncool. I don't know if you guys have read it, but highly recommend it. But what's amazing about it is that he's talking to bands like the Eagles and David Bowie at the beginning of their careers. And so it's this unbelievable perspective. And it occurred to me as I was reading Cameron's book that I'm doing the opposite. I'm talking to these bands at not the twilight of their career, but they're certainly, and many of them are still, Duran Duran is still selling out arenas. Air Supply still sells out arenas. I mean, a lot of the bands I have great touring lives left in them, but they're not topping the charts anymore. I think the thing that I found out, they're much more reflective now. They'll talk about songs that they're not comfortable with. Steve Kilbey of The Church talked about how much he sort of detests two of The Church's best known hits. Can't stand to play them. He would never have admitted that 40 years ago. He'd be crazy, but he's comfortable sharing his honest thoughts. Jim Kerr from Simple Minds talked about a little bit of this uncomfortable relationship that they have with Don't You Forget About Me. So it's always interesting. The other thing I noticed is that all these bands are at each other's throats in the 80s. They were all competing to be on top of the Pops or even Solid Gold or
Right.
American Bandstand.
Any
Like
of those shows. Yeah,
they were
sure.
competing for everything. They all wanted number one hits. They all wanted to outdo each other. I mean, there's the whole infamous Duran Duran Spando Ballet battle. That's gone now. I mean, for the most part, these artists are very friendly, very close to other musicians who were their most bitter rivals. They tour with them now. They room with them. They're sharing the stage together. What they're full of today is gratitude. And when you hear them tell stories about it, it just really fills your heart.
Wow.
That's amazing how, it's kind of like that full circle moment. They went from being fierce competitors to, now it's the camaraderie of being those performers from the 80s. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's the fun I have is there's always something they want to share with you if you can just coax it out of them a little bit. And it's always uncomfortable when you tell somebody, I think I told Steve Kilby my favorite song to sing of his was Unguarded Moment. And you hope he's going to react and say, oh, Steve, that's one of my favorites too. But no, he said something like, you could have it. I never want to play it again.
Wow, really?
And I'm like, I felt at the time, I felt, oh, I've really stepped in it. And, but looking back on it, it's like he did me a favor. He shared a great story and he went on to talk about just moved on. We still played every night because we have to, but I still feel like a little pit in my stomach even retelling that story because I remember just feeling so bad. I was so looking forward to telling him how much I liked that song and how I would try to mimic his low voice, and he just really spiked the ball right in front of me. It was this makes for a great story. Stories are currency. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, I would have had to say, well, does that mean I get the residual checks that come with it too? I'll take it. Come on, bring it on.
Yeah. The way I think it's only fair to still ask those questions because they still have to go on stage every night and play it. And so sometimes you kind of want to know, hey, Kevin Cronin, how does it feel every night playing Keep on Loving You? I asked Steve Perry, how does it feel remastering Oh Sherry when it's based on a relationship that collapsed 6 months after you released the song? And that triggered an interesting story that's in the book where he really opened up about how fame can destroy your relationships. So that's what makes interviewing a musician so much more satisfying sometimes than interviewing an actor. There's not too many actor interviews in the book because they don't have to go out there and read lines from The Breakfast Club 40 years later. When you ask Molly Ringwald about Pretty in Pink, she's going to have to really think about it for a minute. But you ask Steve Kilby about anything under the Milky Way, and you're opening at the door, and you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, to think about that way. That's exactly right.
How pinch me is it that you're now you're friends with Terry Nunn and Taylor Dayne kissed you, and I mean stuff that you're like, this podcast, I know you've made friends, and I mean there's such a deep connection with so many people, but then there's almost silly but totally amazing things like that. Like who would have thunk?
I have a really good Terry Nunn story that just happened on the cruise. She when you go on the 80s cruise, all the artists, in which oddly enough includes myself and Brad, my co-host for the last 12 years, they make you go to a hotel the night before the cruise because they want to make sure you're all in town before the boat sails out. They don't want anyone trying to drive up to the port, at 3:55.
Yeah.
So you got to go to this. They put us all up in the Hilton in Cocoa Beach, and I got there early, 3:00, 4:00. Get my key, go up to the room, open the door, and it's this beautiful suite with an ocean view and a whole living room and 2 televisions and just the nicest room I've ever seen. And I thought, oh my God, I have made it. I have made it now. Like they recognized my talent and my contributions, and surely having a new book doesn't hurt. This is fantastic. And Brad, my co-host, came in and like, let's toast our good luck. And we sat on the couch. I don't want to give it away, but you know where I'm going with this. So we go to dinner, and the phone rings about an hour later, and it's the hotel saying, "Sir, we're sorry. We gave you Terry Nunn's room by mistake." Because her husband's last name is the same as mine, more or less. So Paul Spear. And so I also got a call from Paul Spear because we know each other. And so I'm like, why is Paul calling me? And then why is the hotel calling me? Yeah, we gave you Terry's room by mistake. Do you mind coming back and exchanging keys? So we go back and we take my stuff from this glorious suite, and they give me the keys to my room, and it's just a regular room, nothing special. And so I go downstairs and I go, "Where's Terry? I'll give her the keys." And so she's having dinner in the restaurant with, it's her and downtown Julie Brown and Alan Hunter and Mark Goodman and the rest of Berlin.
Wow.
They're all at this big table, having drinks and enjoying dinner. And here I come in and I'm like, I got someone's room key. And so we had to exchange room keys. And she gave me a big hug, and she'd even told the hotel, so I'm friends with Steve. It's okay. It's no worries. Don't worry about this. But when we had her as a guest for trivia on the ship, I told the story to the whole room. So like 600 people now know about us, because I introduced by saying I've been in Terry Nunn's bed this week. And everyone was just like,
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, no,
it's funny.
To answer your question, it's surreal is the word I keep coming back to. The fact that these things keep happening to me. We were talking to Alan Frew from Glass Tiger during trivia, and he remembered half the stuff we had talked about during our podcast interview, which had been months before. He remembered what my favorite Glass Tiger song was, and he said, "Steve, we're going to open with your favorite song tonight."
Oh.
And This Island Earth, in case you're wondering, it's not one of the big hits, but it's a big song for them.
Yeah.
So that happening, or when you're walking down the hallway and Alan Hunter sees you and comes up and chats you up, it just, that's
awesome.
never get, the good feeling never goes away.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Hey, just all the best to you about the book, and I hope that you'll join us again in the future.
Anytime you want me, I'm here.
All right, man. That's
Steve,
awesome.
do you have a copy of the book right there? You can show everybody.
Yeah. Tell everybody where to get the books and your socials and all that great stuff. There it is.
Down, it's on the floor, sadly. I only got like 2 copies. This is the book.
So get it.
Awesome.
Special cruise edition. So you buy anyway. It's it'll be on Amazon.com on Wednesday, March 11th. You can find it Barnes and Noble as well, and some of the other online bookstores. But Kindle version is available for pre-sale already. But no, Tammy did an amazing job. I mean, when she first showed me the design of the interior, we were just gobsmacked. We loved it so much. We didn't change a thing. She did an incredible job, and
that's that's Steve on the front.
Yeah, it's silhouette of me, and from you can barely make out the cheesy mustache I had in high school.
That's awesome.
You can't grow that back anymore.
No, right. I wish I could grow my hair back, but them days are long gone.
Yes.
AI will do that for you, DH.
Right, I should do that. I had somebody tell me I could go get some weaved in. I thought, no, there's nothing up there to weave to.
There's nothing to attach to. Yeah, that's right.
So I'm in publishing, and I'm going to push Wednesday. If you are seeing this,
yes,
before it launches, or even the week of, like that first week from Wednesday, March 11th on, that first week is super important for book sales. Go on to Amazon, buy a copy of Steve's book, and as soon as you're able, go back and leave a review. Reviews are everything to Amazon's algorithm. They're also really helpful for a fragile author's ego. We doubt ourselves all the time, right? So it's nice to hear when somebody is connects to what you've put out there. It's kind of scary sometimes. So go out and buy it. Let's make Steve's book a #1 new release, a #1 bestseller. It's worth it. 100%. It's so good.
Yep.
It is,
So,
folks. From the little bit I've read of it,
Stuck in the 80s.
Make sure you get that Wednesday night. And
Steve
DC, let's
Spears
make a note to remind everybody Wednesday night. And Tammy, if
We
you
will
want
do
to
that.
pop on,
we will do
you
that.
feel welcome
We
to
will do
pop
that
on to give
Wednesday
everybody
night
a
on our
reminder.
show.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thanks.
we'll put that reminder
Be glad to
out.
do that. Be glad to do that. Well, Steve, we appreciate it so much, and thanks for popping on here and talking about the book.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks, guys, for inviting me back.
Absolutely. Tammy, you going to hold as well?
I will.
Okay. All right, DH.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of DND Dynamite 80s. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're all out there everywhere on Canyon Star TV. We're getting some new episodes downloaded there. So pretty much wherever we can put our faces, you're welcome. We're putting them out there. So make sure and join us in. Give us a share. Give us a like. We'd like to thank Steve for joining us tonight. And as always, Tammy, amazing job as always. Get Steve's book Wednesday. I'm telling you, folks, watch our podcast first, because if you buy the book first, you're probably not going to watch our podcast. You're going to be reading. Right. It's that good. I'm telling you, it is that good. So make sure and watch us first. Buy the book, save it till afterwards, start reading it then. So then we'll give that out. And folks, as I always end off before I send it over to DC, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So always be kind. DC?
Hey, amen, brother. D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors: Hudson's Flags and More, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, PJG Marketing, The Roy Band, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, The Magic Yarn Project, and Hearts for Isabella. Please check out all these great folks online.
Yes. And folks, couple of shout outs here. When we started this thing, DC, next week, not this week, but next week, we hit 6 years, buddy. We started in. Isn't that something? Man. Hard to believe.
Yes.
So, when we started this thing,
what a ride.
I'm telling you. Still haven't got any checks yet, so I'm still waiting on those.
No, we're still trying to improve. So,
well, that's not going to happen either. So it's okay.
No, we just got to keep digging at it.
Right, we're going to keep digging in.
Yeah.
But folks, when we started this thing, we said if it ever got to the point we could help out, that's kind of where we wanted to go. And we've been very fortunate to partner with 3 organizations to kind of be part of their family. The first one is the Magic Yarn Project, and what these folks do, they hand knit head coverings like princes and superheroes and donate them to kids that are battling cancer. So if you find it in your heart and you want to give to an organization, we ask you consider them. Next is Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, our friend the Vooch, Paul Carafotis. And what they do is for kids that can't afford a book, when you donate money, they make sure kids get books. And as educators, we know how important literacy is at a young age. So that's very important to us. And then through Charlie Bubbles Cares, we found out about Isabella, and there's our sweet angel Isabella. She was born with a heart issue and succumbed to it. But her parents have actually started an organization called Hearts for Isabella, and they go into hospitals and help these families that are going through
dealing with those same things,
similar events. Absolutely. So please consider supporting them. Also, and with your thoughts, your prayers, monetary, and also DC. I know you got to make it Saturday night. I didn't make it out. We were having family dinner, which I had a blast with the grandkids, but I did see part of the show. The Roy Band did put on another amazing show. See Rock and Roll Rev on there, getting everybody fired up. So, so shout out to them.
We're excited for Rock and Roll Rev putting out a book as well.
Yes.
So we'll talk to him about that. April 29th.
New coffee mugs.
New coffee mugs. Right. We're the big time.
Hey.
Not. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, next week, or not next week, Wednesday. Sorry. I was thinking it's already Wednesday.
Oh, I thought I was going to get some more time off there, man. You got me all excited.
Yeah. This Wednesday, we'll have our friend Mike Skill. I think he's going to be back on for the 3rd or 4th time.
Yes.
From the Romantics.
Yes. Can't wait.
So we'll catch up with him. Great guy. And we appreciate him taking the time to be back on with us, especially after doing it several times. And
Yes.
so put
Always
that out
a
there, and
fun
he
time.
said he'd be glad to do it. So yeah, we'll catch up with Mike, see what's going on with him on
Yes.
Wednesday night. So there we
All
go.
right. All right. Now, Steve, I will say now, if you ever need someone just to come stand on the cruise and hold your book to
Yes,
sell it for
yes,
you,
or hand out books.
I'm
or
your man. You know,
something, yeah.
I can hand them out quick. So, you know,
Where
we could-
where were you when I needed someone to hold Taylor Dane's
Right.
pina colada?
see,
Yeah, I would have done that. Yeah, I would have done that. So there you go. That's right. Oh, wow. Well, once again, Steve Spears' book is Stuck in the 80s. We appreciate you. All the best for the book. Safe in your travels as you go here and there along the way. And yeah, we'll catch up with you again, my friend, for sure.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
All right. So for DH and Tammy, once again, fine job. We appreciate you sitting in the co-host seat.
Love it. I'm
All right.
grateful to be part of your family.
All right.
Well,
And once
we're
again,
grateful
Steve
for
Spears-
you
Yeah,
because you've saved
absolutely.
us. You've saved us more than we can count.
I am DC, and we will see you Wednesday night. And as DC always leads us out, keep playing those 80s, my friends, and we'll see
See you
next
Wednesday
time.
night, folks.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Steve.
everyone.